Hello, everyone. What is going on? James here, and welcome back to Casual Combat Talk. So, today we shall be discussing UFC 261, among other things. So, let's get into this then. First fight I'll be talking about is Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Jimmy Crute. So, this fight, there was a lot of Smith, sort of standing there, very stiff jabs. And Jimmy Crute was landing leg kicks, and that was pretty much what was going on for quite a bit the first round. But then Anthony Smith landed a good leg kick behind the knee, and Jimmy Crute was like, "Whoa!" And then he just went for the takedown and took him down and controlled him a bit. And then, obviously, in between rounds, he was like, "Argh!" And then, no, I shouldn't take the mic. No, he's a legend. He's a legend. But like he was, he was like, "Whoa!" And then they were like, "I'm sorry, we're waving this off." And then he was like, "Damn it," which is fair enough. I really don't blame it. It's really annoying, but they're just looking out for his safety at the end of the day. What would have happened? He probably would have kept getting kicked there in the second round, or maybe he could have shot for an amazing takedown. I don't know. But I don't know. If he ain't able to walk properly, I don't know. I mean, Sean O'Malley was on one leg for for the whole of the third round against one person ages ago. So, but it is iffy because even though the first round was pretty close, you don't, when the leg is already compromised, you don't really want to risk it getting worse. But I don't know. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. It really is a difficult one. But yeah, fair play to Smith. 2-fight win streak now, so fair play to him. Fair play to the lad. So let's get into Chris Weidman versus Uriah Hall, and there ain't much to talk about really. Horrific leg snap, absolutely horrific. Feel bad for him. I saw something that said Chris Weidman was like, "Oh, I never celebrated when Silver's leg snapped." But like you see him running off with his hands in the air, and he's like, "What the hell?" No, that was some sort of celebration. Like, come on, lad. But I mean, Uriah Hall pretty much turned his leg into it, and Wyman kicked like the hardest part of the leg, and his leg just snapped. But from what I remember, like Uriah Hall's leg sort of wobbled a bit, but Wyman was pretty much finished. It's cool that Hall wants to run this one back, but at the end of the day, I really think that Wyman should just retire now. I just think it's sort of game over. Like, he's 36, he's taken a lot of damage. What's the point? You ain't going to get back up to title contention, are you? Let's be real. Ask most MMA fans, is he going to beat someone like Izzy or Robert Whittaker, or even other people at the top? They're probably going to be like, no, he's probably not going to do it. So yeah, I mean, the thing is though, with him, he's actually been there and done it. That's the mad thing. I know he fought old people. Well, they say, oh, he fought old people and whatever, but before the Luke Rockhold loss, he was pretty much undefeated, wasn't he? Beat Damian Maia, then beat Silver twice. Bloody, Vitor Belfort and Lyoto Machida. Beat all of them. And I know you can try and say, oh, X person washed up, blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day, he's been there and done it 3 title defenses. Like, he's been there and done it. So what's the point of going on and on and on and on? It is sad because he clearly has the seal, because he was winning against Jocaro, winning against Gago Mousasi, winning against Romero, winning against Rockhold. But yeah, things happen, I suppose. But yeah, on to the next fight. So actually, I know it's a bit of a bonkers fight, but it would really be cool if Uriah Hall fought Kevin Holland. I think that'd be quite a banter match, even though Holland recently said he wants to step in on short notice to fight Cowboy Cerrone, which would be pretty mad. I think he could get the job done, at welterweight. I think he'd be considerably better there. And Uriah Hall versus Kevin Holland, that'd also be interesting, very interesting fight. You know what? Standing up, I think a lot of people struggle against Holland. I mean, Vettori wasn't doing the best standing against him. Brunson wasn't doing the best standing against him. I know both those guys won that fight, but is Uriah Hall going to go for the wrestling? No. So I think Kevin Holland wins that. But there ain't much for him to do middleweight anymore. He lost to 2 pretty great guys in Derek Brunson and Marvin Vettori. So he should. I mean, if he wants to fight Uriah Hall for the laughs, go for it. But yeah, stick with the welterweight, beat Cowboy, and then get further and further and further. Be cool to see him versus Hazmat Jamayev. I think Hazmat would win, but it'd be very cool. So now on to Andrade versus Shevchenko, and Shevchenko's pretty much beating her everywhere, really, and finished her in the second, which was pretty good. I mean, Andrade did deserve the title shot because she beat the number one in Caitlin Chikagian and finished her in the first round. But at the end of the day, Shevchenko did a shit and won, got in the mounted crucifix and battered her, and was winning pretty much most of the fight beforehand. So fair play to her. Make the Amanda Nunes fight. Who else is there to fight her? I mean, you could get Rose Namajunas to come up to 125, but like, I don't really see the point, to be honest. It just seems a bit daft. But yeah, I mean, if Rose wants to do that, do that. But it would be really, really cool if Amanda Nunes and Shevchenko had a third fight. That'd be absolutely awesome. Then we can determine who the female goat is. Next fight, Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang, or Zhang Weili, whatever you want to call her. And yeah, she was on the balls of her feet. Doesn't usually throw kicks that much, and when you're on the balls of your feet, you're usually going to box. I know some people like throw kicks and whatever, but you know what I mean? Like when you're bouncing in and out, so and Rose doesn't throw kicks anyway, so an inside leg kick to the head, like, she didn't see that coming at all. And I was so happy Rose won. I didn't think she'd do it, but she won, so fair play. I mean, I think Zhang Weili deserves a rematch for, all the fights that she's won beforehand, like against Jacek and Andrade. But I mean, yeah, pretty cool. Now on to the main event. Masvidal versus Usman. I mean, it was pretty crazy that they weren't really like Masvidal did really, really well to get up against Usman when Usman took him down. But obviously Usman didn't catch the leg kicks really. Actually, no, did he at one point? I can't remember. But yeah, Masvidal wasn't really respecting the striking that much, was he? He did give some great leg kicks, and it makes sense because Usman's got skinny legs, and yeah, no one really good. And obviously his knees are messed up, and Usman even admits that himself, his knees are messed up. So no one's really going to go for that on him. Well, you'd think more people are good for that on him, but I suppose they're scared of the threat of the takedown, aren't they? But it seemed like Masvidal had a good game with the takedown defense. But yeah, pretty much Masvidal got knocked out. Usman sort of slapped the hook away and then just did a big loaded up the straight stiff right hand, and did really, really well. I mean, Masvidal looked great in the fight though, to be honest, but Usman was just better and floored Masvidal, like parried the hook out the way, then big straight right. Obviously posted his elbow to get all the power, and literally he sort of like fell over a bit because he was just putting his whole body into it. And yeah, it floored Masvidal. No one's finished him. Well, he got submitted, and then he obviously got knocked out with the exact same punch like years and years and years and years ago. So yeah, massive fair play to Usman. It's interesting with the welterweight toss-up really, because you've got Gilbert Burns versus Stephen Thompson soon, which is going to be very interesting. You've got Leon versus Nate, which is, I mean, it's nice that Leon will finally get known by casual fans, but like he don't really do much for him. But I suppose, well, the thing is, right, if Burns wins his fight, they're not going to give him a rematch, so they'll probably give it to Leon if he beats Diaz, and if Nate beats Leon, they're probably just going to give him the title shot to sell those pay-per-view cards. But I for one, would not be excited for that fight at all. I think Usman would just absolutely batter the crap out of him. But yeah, I mean, they're probably going to, if Thompson wins, that'll be quite interesting with his elusive footwork and all that jazz. And can he get away from the takedown? I mean, I don't really think so, but who knows? So yeah, the welterweight toss-up's quite interesting at the moment. So that's pretty much all I've got to say about it, really. A lot of finishes. Even the fights where there was a decision, it was really awesome and fun to watch. And just gonna have a drink of water. But yeah, it was all fun to watch. It was all great fun. As I say, finishes galore, exciting fights. What more can you want out of a UFC card? So yeah, let's talk about a little bit of news quickly. So Jones says he wants 30 million to fight Francis. I was like, what the hell is going on? I was like, this is absolute utter madness. Like, I don't care how much he thinks he's worth, right? He's been in the UFC for years and whatever, but I think to myself, does he even want the fight? because throwing out those sort of numbers, it's what Nate Diaz did against Tyron Woodley. He's like, I'm not being paid enough. I want X amount of money, but it just makes Jones not look like a coward. It makes him look like, oh, I'm asking for more money and they didn't pay him. That's why I didn't fight him, instead of saying, Francis is way bigger than me and way more powerful, and I'm not as good as I used to be. Which you'd expect the honesty a little bit, but obviously Jones isn't going to admit that. He's got too much pride, which is fair enough. In his last two, he didn't really look that good, though. And I mean, as I say, all his defense really is this he doesn't stick his fingers out anymore, so sticking his arms out like that and just hoping for the best. And he can do that because he's got such a reach over his opponents. But Francis, his reach is a lot closer. I think Francis is like 83, isn't it? So very close to John Jones is 84 and a half. So yeah, I mean, this isn't going to work against Francis. And I mean, if Francis gets a decent wrestling game, man, he could just batter people on the floor, couldn't he? But yeah, it's ridiculous saying you want 30 million. It's absolutely stupid, because you shouldn't want that as base pay. If Jones was confident that he could sell pay-per-views, then just have it as pay-per-view points. Say, oh, just give me pay-per-view points and whatever. But no, he knows they won't sell that much. But I think he is not this stupid to think, oh, I want 30 million base pay. He just wants a weird excuse to not want to do the fight. He wants a weird excuse to not do the fight. And but Dana White's saying this is what he said, and John Jones isn't like confirming it. So he's saying, oh, this isn't what I asked for, but he isn't really confirming what he actually did ask for. So we're going to believe Dana, aren't we? Just ridiculous, though. I think John Jones, in reality, just doesn't want the fight. And it is sort of fair enough. He's done the stuff he wants to do. And what's the point of him going up to heavyweight? I mean, Jan Blachowicz is definitely going for that Francis Ngannou fight. But yeah. More news. McGregor said that I'm going to give this $500,000 to absolutely nobody. But now he's giving money to charity again. Before he was like, I promised to do it. And, well, he was really intent on doing it. He said he'd do it. And then he just didn't do it. But now I think he has given money to charity again. So that's good that he's said something and that he wants to do it. Originally, though, with that story, I was thinking to myself, I know it's weeks and weeks old, but I was thinking to myself, okay, so you don't want to give, you shouldn't, first off, like if you're going to give money to charity, though, like you should really do the research beforehand, instead of being like, oh yeah, I suddenly don't want to do it now because I don't want my money to go there. You really need to do your research beforehand, so that's a bit mad. And what else is there to say? I can't think of any more news. I've been suffering with hay fever a lot recently. It's been a bit difficult, really. But yeah. Final thing I want to talk about is Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora. Quick prediction then. So, Chisora, I know that against Usyk, he won 4 rounds, bullied him for 4 rounds, but then Usyk just came back and won the rest of the rounds. But the thing is, I feel like Chisora is still really good. I just think Usyk is way, 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 way better. Now, I can't really see Chisora gassing against Parker. I really can't see him trying to finish him quickly. I think Parker knows if he exchanges with Derek that, well, he's going sleeping. But the thing is, he kept coming forward against Junior Fa. That's why I think Chisora's going to do better, because I know he won his last fight and Chisora lost to Usyk, but I just feel like Chisora's getting better. And from that Junior Fa fight, I felt like Parker should have won a lot more convincingly, and he's very, very slowly going down the hill. So yeah, I think Chisora will win, probably 10th round TKO. Oh yeah, one more thing I wanted to say. Ryan Garcia said recently that he's taken a massive break from boxing. I was going to talk about him versus Fortuna. Javier Fortuna, I think his name is. But then Garcia put a post up saying that, oh man, I'm just going to take some time to deal with personal issues. And he put stuff up on Facebook saying about his depression and anxiety. I mean, with this type of thing, it's just difficult, really, and because with mental health, people say, well, this is how I feel inside my head, you don't get me, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, Garcia is a very, 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 very good boxer, and being young and famous is insanely difficult. He's the social media star, isn't he? But I don't know. It's just, I just feel like, I hope it's just an in the spur moment thing, and he does continue to box, because he said he wants to do MMA by 26, so surely you wouldn't really want to take a massive break to solve personal stuff. And there's a lot of other fighters who have mental health issues and have anxiety and a bit of depression or a lot of depression or whatever, and they still continue. So, yeah, I mean, I hope he does continue. I mean, if it's too much for him, I guess just retire. You've got like, what, 20 odd million now, massive house. I mean, retire. I mean, if it's too much for you. But if you really want to do it, stick with it, or just take a massive break. But then he's sort of wasting his career because he did something that no one else has done. Finish Luke Campbell with that brilliant body shot. So I mean, it's his choice. He can do what he wants. But yeah, it'd be cool to see him come back. So that's all I've got to say. Sorry if I seem a bit off or I'm not really making great points. It's just, yeah, I'm really, having quite a bit of hay fever. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, have a good one. See ya.